reminded me that we need to bring it back. So we have our bill back. So we start with Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Stan, do we have guests? No guests. Hey guys, get with it. You gotta start getting some company here. And so this is a reminder that our cup money is for the Islamic Center's turkey giveaway. Rehan would like some help Saturday morning at 10 at Let's Help. If you're interested or available for that, just talk to Rehan regarding it. And then I'll ask for Wayne to come up for the memorial remembering Andy Chandler.
Thank you, President Joni. Anderson Woods Chandler was born in Wichita, Kansas on January 21st, 1926. After graduating from Wichita East in 1943, he attended Wichita State University. During his first semester, he instead chose to serve his country by enlisting in the U.S. Army Air Corps during World War II at the age of 17. He hoped to be a pilot, but was assigned as a flight engineer on the B-17 heavy bombers. He was honorably discharged from active duty on November 1945 and enrolled at the University of Kansas. While at KU, he joined Delta Tau Delta Fraternity and the Scabbard and Blade, a college military honor society. He graduated with honors from KU in 1948 with a degree in business. Having served as a ROTC cadet captain, he went on to receive a commission as second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force Reserve. Inspired by his father's leadership in banking, Andy joined Farmers State Bank in Sterling, Kansas. During that time, he completed a graduate degree program in banking at the University of Wisconsin and attended Harvard University's Senior Bank Officer Seminar. In 1958, Andy moved his family to Topeka after purchasing Fidelity State Bank and Trust Company. He served both as president and chairman of the board until 2009. In May of 2018, the 60th anniversary of his joining the bank, Andy retired as chairman of the board. He remained chairman emeritus until his death. Andy served as president of the Kansas Bankers Association, Greater Topeka Chamber of Commerce, Kansas Chamber of Commerce, United Way of Greater Topeka, Downtown Topeka Incorporated, the YMCA, the Native Sons and Daughters of Kansas, and the Jayhawk Area Council. He was a member of the Orient Lodge of Topeka, becoming a 32nd degree Mason. He was a member of the Arab Shrine in Topeka, and he was a member of this Rotary Club since January of 1980. He was a supporter of the Boy Scouts of America, the Girl Scouts of the USA, Washburn University, the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library, the YMCA, First Presbyterian Church of Topeka, Downtown Topeka Incorporated, the United Way, and numerous other charities. Andy's involvement with Boy Scouts is well known. He was the longest serving board member of the Jayhawk Area Council. He served as president of the North Central Region and was on the National Executive Board, serving as chairman of the National Properties Committee for 16 years. He was the first Kansan to receive Scouting's highest volunteer honor at both at a council level, a region level, and also at the national level. Andy was a faithful member of First Presbyterian Church for more than 60 years, serving numerous stints as an elder as recently as 2017-2018 term. He was involved in many church activities, including men's Bible study and Sunday school, and was incredibly faithful about his worship, attending worship each and every Sunday. Only illness or family special events kept him away. Andy gave generously to his church over the years, most recently helping fund a complete renovation of their kitchen. He received the Leadership God and Service Award and also received the St. George emblem from the Catholic Church. He annually sponsored Kansas prayer breakfasts and donated Strength of Service to God and Country daily devotional books to every scout that attended Camp Jayhawk during the summer. Andy's honors are numerous. He received the Patrick Henry Award in recognition of outstanding civilian service to the Armed Forces of the United States. Junior Achievement named him the Topeka Business Hall of Fame. Washburn University awarded him an honorary doctorate of commerce, and the Association of Fundraising Professionals Topeka chapter honored him with the Outstanding Philanthropy Award. He was also named Shriner of the Year in 1974. Andy was an active and generous alumnus of KU, where 4 daughters and 3 of his grandchildren graduated. He was president of the KU Union Memorial Corporation and served on the KU Business School and KU Endowment Association boards. He endowed the Anderson Chandler Business School Lecture Series and the Anderson Chandler Teaching Professorship in Business. He established the Anderson Chandler Scholarship Fund for KU graduates of Kansas high schools. In recognition for service to KU, the Business School named Andy a Distinguished Alumnus in 1998. And the University of Kansas Alumni Association awarded Andy the Fred Ellsworth Medallion in 1997 and the Distinguished Service Citation in 2010. Andy and Patricia, his high school sweetheart, were married for 50 years until her passing in 1999, after a lengthy battle with Parkinson's disease. Andy later married Edith and was blessed with another 13 years of marriage before she passed away. Over his lifetime, Andy enjoyed traveling the world, visiting all 7 continents, spending time with his family, collecting antique cars, golfing, tennis, skiing, reading, and of course, KU athletics. He also enjoyed telling a good joke. Andy is survived by 4 daughters, 10 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. As is our tradition, the Topeka Rotary Club will make a donation to the Topeka Rotary Foundation in his honor. With us today, representing the Chandler family, both personally and his banking family, is Alan Tao. Alan is the chairman and CEO of Fidelity State Bank and Trust and is also a Topeka South Rotarian. In the Scout Oath, one pledges to do their duty to God and their country and to help other people at all times. Scouts are also taught to do a good turn daily. Mr. Chandler exemplified these qualities throughout his whole life. I ask that all Rotarians please stand and guest for a moment of silence for Rotarian Anderson Woods Chandler, who truly exemplified service above self.
He will be missed. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Ellen, for coming and joining us in this community. Haven't seen Brian Falk here. Ah, you have your back to me, Brian. So this week I'd like to congratulate Brian Falk for his work in designing the Red Back Park, which had its opening last week. I understand that you and your firm not only designed it, but did quite a bit of volunteer contributions to the park. And if you haven't seen it yet in Noto, I encourage you to go see it. It's a fun place. So, thank you. Carol, bring them up and do the blue badge. Hi, I'm Carol Jordan, and this is Orion. We are here today to present badges to a couple of select Rotarians today. I would like to remind you all that we do badge presentations on the third Thursday meeting every month. So if you haven't received your red badge or your blue badge, please send me an email and we'll set you up for a presentation in December. So would Norma Juma and Matt Charvat come up, please? So I do the brief talking and then Orion hands over the back. It's worked out really good. So Norma, it's receiving her red badge today. Norma was born in Kenya. She moved to Topeka in 2005. She's a professor of business at Washburn University, and she's on an important team that we have now that's preparing a Rotary International grant for Kenya. So she'll be getting her blue badge pretty darn soon. So congratulations, Norma.
Thank you so much for welcoming me into your club. It's nice to be among like-minded people who want to make a difference in our communities around the world. So thank you so much for accepting me.
We're excited to have you. There was one other red badge person. I'm not going to make her come up here because I made an unofficial presentation a couple of weeks ago because her badge was in the bottom of my purse. That's Sharon Carlson, and Sharon is a pastor of Charities who's come back after doing public service, working for the Department of Defense, helping service members and their families. So Sharon's going to get her blue badge, please. So we won't make her come up. So. And receiving a blue badge today, we have Matt Sharvat. Blue badge people, we ask to tell a little bit about themselves and to share something about what Rotary means to them in their life. So, Matt, badge.
Thank you.
More?
Well, this was a surprise. I've grown up, my parents raised my siblings and myself to always give back to the community and for those who can help those who can't necessarily help themselves. So that's one of the reasons that I got into Rotary, and it's also something that my wife and I are trying to instill in our children. So I look forward to doing lots of good stuff for everybody. So thank you.
So Brian, Matt has just been recruited up on the stage here to help you with trivia. So I hope you all are getting your trivia teams together for our fundraiser on February 13th at Civic Theater. Brian will be sharing more with you regarding that. Before we get started with the meeting, I wanted to remind you that two of our projects, Covered in Codes and Soulmates, are our district grant programs. And next Tuesday on November 25th and Wednesday, December 4th, we have shoes. Now we're doing the shoes a little bit differently now that Payless doesn't have stores open here. So we need volunteers, 7 or 8 volunteers on November 26th, and likewise on December 4th. There is a sign-up sheet in the back if you want to volunteer for either of those days, and there will also be a club runner posting for that. Okay. So talking about volunteerism, in December, we are just having one party after another, and having really a good time. On December 2nd, we will have, finding my notes here. December 5th, we'll be here, and we will be brought up to date on the Topeka Rotary Foundation. And then we have a special music surprise for you to begin our holiday celebration. On December 12th, we will be having the club's holiday social in the evening from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Evergy lobby and multi-purpose room. We will also be recognizing our Paul Harris Fellows and having some entertainment. And this is very special entertainment because we are going to have a talent show of our members. And so, if you are interested in sharing your talent, please contact Roger or Allison. Roger Asherman or Allison, they're back there. If you don't volunteer and they know you have a talent, you can easily be recruited, so you might just want to go in. And then on December 19th, we will be back here at the Manor Conference Center and having special entertainment from Highland Park High School, and also doing a special Christmas project, writing Christmas cards for persons who do not have family members and are homeless. So it'll be a great time to celebrate, have a good time, enjoy the camaraderie of our club, and then to also be thinking about how you wish to contribute during 2020. And with that, we will start with Terry Wages introducing our speaker today.
Thank you, President Jones. Alan, before you get out of here, I want to give you a plug. For those of you who don't know, and maybe some of you do know, before I introduce the speaker today, Andy Chandler and Fidelity Bank were great partners of whatever function that Rotary was involved with. And we would approach Andy, and he was very excited to help. Well, when Andy retired from the bank, so to speak, Alan Towle has taken over, and Alan has carried on where Andy left off. And every time I approach the Fidelity Bank, Alan Towle, to ask for help either on the Freedom Festival, the district conference, and sometimes I give Alan a range, he always takes a higher number. So I give a special thanks to Fidelity Bank and Alan for their support of Rotary. And one thing else about Andy, I don't know how many of you knew, he loved to play sports, but he was not gifted in it. And so I was one of his tennis partners, and he would have tennis over at his house on the river. And then Patsy Tricia would make iced tea, and after we played for a while, we'd all go in for iced tea and have a chit-chat. But he loved the game. My pleasure today to introduce our speaker, Mindee Reece. Mindee serves as the CEO and Executive Director of the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Northeast Kansas, and she's been in that position since November of 2015. That's a long title. We just call it the Ronald McDonald House, but that's her official position. In this capacity, as you would expect, she's responsible for policy, operations, budget management, fundraising, and community outreach to support helping families keep close to their hospitalized children. Prior to this position, Mindee worked for the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for 24 years. Her last position was as administrator of the Division of Public Health and Director of the Bureau of Community Health Systems, where she was responsible for a multi-million-dollar annual budget and oversight of numerous regulatory and outreach programs for the state's health and medical community. Mindee also has worked for the American Cancer Society's Heartland Division as Director of Public Relations and Marketing for a 4-state area. She is originally from Maple Hill, and she graduated from Washburn University in 1988 with a bachelor's degree in Communications and Public Relations. And I asked Mindee, I said, what are your hobbies or the things you'd like to do if you had any spare time? And she says, swim, read, family, if I can get away from work. So I want to introduce you to Mindee Reece, our speaker for today at the Ronald McDonald House.
Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon now. Thank you all for having me. This is quite a pleasure to get to come and speak to all the Rotarians today. Ronald McDonald House has been around in Topeka since June 15th, 1988. So last year we turned 30, and that was fun. Since I'm in my 50s, it was fun to say I celebrated a 30th birthday. Thought I'd share with you some bright flowers today because it's pretty gray outside. Ronald McDonald House is located at 825 Southwest Buchanan Street, just about 5 minutes away or less from Stormont Bell Health and the University of Kansas Health System St. Francis campus. So we're nice and centrally located for our families to be able to go back and forth from the house to the hospitals to see their children. Our mission, we've updated this over the past couple of years. The crux of our mission is we strive to keep families close. Families come to Topeka from as far away as other states, other countries, and other counties, as well as Shawnee County. To stay in the Ronald McDonald House, you just have to live outside the city limits of Topeka. So we do support families from Auburn and Rossville and Silver Lake, as well as counties from all over the state of Kansas. We have 8 sleeping rooms, and in 2016 we undertook a project called Done in a Day. I don't know if any of you had been in the Ronald McDonald House prior to 2016, but we still had decor circa 1988. So dark wallpaper, kind of vintage looking things. We even had a cuckoo clock in one of the rooms. So we worked with families and businesses from around the area who were interested in adopting one of our rooms to update. So the rooms we're showing you here, the top one is our living room on the main floor. We are the lucky beneficiary of Lazy Boy Furniture, as are all Ronald McDonald houses. So every year we can pick 4 new pieces of Lazy Boy Furniture. So we changed our living room from a dark maroon and oak, dark wood theme to more of a light cream and beige and blue theme to make it a little bit more warm. And the room on the bottom right of the screen, Dobsky and Associates, McDonald's actually updated for us. We have twin-size beds in most of our rooms, so some of the rooms we pushed them together, and the donor bought a king-size mattress to put on the twin box frames. So we're able to turn some of our rooms into king-size sleeping rooms, which our families absolutely love. Each of our rooms has a private bathroom, which is nice, and we have Wi-Fi access, which families like, laundry facilities, and so we provide to the best of our ability, all of the comforts of home at the Ronald McDonald House. Families who stay with us at the Ronald McDonald House, in Topeka, typically our families have babies in the neonatal intensive care unit at Stormont Bell Health. We also have families who have children receiving behavioral health care at Stormont Bell West. We've seen an increase in families staying with us because high-risk pregnancies, the moms need to be close to the hospital, so they come stay with us at the Ronald McDonald House during the last part of their pregnancy. So if they do go into labor, they're minutes away from the hospital rather than hours away in some cases. We also are seeing an increase in families staying with us because they're adopting a baby in the NICU. I've been asked since I've been here today about our staffing. We have a very small staff. I'm the only full-time person we have. We have a part-time business manager who pays our bills and does our bank deposits and the paperwork side of things. We have 2 part-time house managers who keep the day-to-day operations going. We have a part-time assistant, and then we have a team of 8 relief managers that work evenings, overnight, and weekends. So we're staffed 24/7, 365 days a year. Oops, back on, bad button. Volunteers are essential to our work. With just a very small staff, we started tracking our volunteer hours. We're averaging over 400 volunteer hours a month. And nationally, they estimate that each volunteer hour is worth about $25, so that's more than $10,000 in donated support on a monthly basis. Those volunteers help us with everything from mowing the lawn and shoveling snow, cooking meals, helping with fundraising. They really are the heart of the Ronald McDonald House. Looking back on 2018, I just want to share a little data with you. We served 166 families last year. They stayed a total of 1,500 73 nights. That was an increase over the prior year. Like I said, about 90% of our families have babies in the NICU. Our longest stay last year was 93 days, and so far this year, our longest stay is 118 days. So the stays are getting longer as the babies are getting smaller and they can survive. So we have micro-preemie families that have babies less than 2 pounds that can live for months in the neonatal intensive care unit, and the family stays with us. So our stays are long. Our average stay last year was 10 days. Oop, that's not very good to see. Last year we served families from 30 Kansas counties, 7 other states, and 1 other country. We actually had a family from China who stayed with us for several weeks. They had a surrogate from the East Coast, and their contract called for the surrogate to deliver in Topeka, Kansas, because Dad was obsessed with Kal-El, Superman, who was born in Kansas, according to Marvel. So Mom and Dad had the surrogate come to Topeka to deliver the baby. The babies, 2 twin boys, were premature, so Mom and Dad stayed with us. Mom spoke no English. Dad spoke a tiny bit of English, so we used Google Translator, and that was a real interesting experience at the Ronald McDonald House in Topeka. And they named their sons Tony for Tony Stark and Cal for Kal-El. And so they were super excited to take their babies and go home to China. So you just never know who you're going to serve at Topeka's Ronald McDonald House. 22% of our families were active duty military families from Fort Riley. That number has decreased over time. I think it's decreasing in proportion to the increasing number of families, because we're seeing more families that are coming from up the 75 highway, Seneca, Hiawatha, and those areas, as well as western Kansas. We had a family last year from Gove County that was with us for many months. And I don't know if any of you traveled Kansas like I have, but Gove is a long ways away. We also serve families, most of them are low to moderate income, which impacts our budget, and I'm going to talk about that here shortly. Our costs in last year for a family to stay 24 hours was in the neighborhood of $75, factoring in water, heat, cooling, laundry, everything. We asked our families to consider making a $25 donation per night for their stay, but very few were able to do so. So that leaves a big gap for us to fill. This is the #1 question I get when I'm out talking to people. I think folks think I'm sitting on Happy Meal money from McDonald's, and we do get money from McDonald's primarily through the donation box revenues. We get 75 cents of every dollar dropped in a McDonald's donation box. The other 25 cents goes to the global Ronald McDonald House Charities, and the McDonald's owner-operator gets none of that money. So that's I think, important for people to know. But we get 8% of our annual budget from McDonald's. So the rest is me like this. I write grants, we hold fundraisers, we try to encourage people to keep us in their end-of-year giving plans. We do a lot of fundraising throughout the year and grant writing. Our families don't contribute a whole lot, but they do contribute, as does Medicaid reimbursement. So I think it's important to have a good snapshot of where we get our money. And I just want to take a minute, I'm going to run through these pretty quickly, but we have a lot of support coming from across northeastern Kansas, and I want to just be mindful to acknowledge that in front of the Rotary Club today. These are alphabetically listed. We have included everyone who's gifted us with at least $500 and up. Azura has been a huge supporter of the Ronald McDonald House, and this past year we've received over $20,000 from Azura, which is huge for the Ronald McDonald House. Our whole budget is around $425,000, so a $20,000 gift given in a couple of different increments is really significant for us. For First Bank and Trust, I was just commenting at my table, we've moved our investments from a Kansas City-based company to Roger here at Core First, and it's been one of the best things we've done. Our knowledge of our investment resources, investment income, is so much stronger than it was a year ago. And so he's doing a good job, so take your money to Roger. Diamonds by Design, they have adopted us. They love the Ronald McDonald House, so they do things year-round. They donate jewelry items for our gala, and they're getting ready to start their annual holiday drive where they'll accept donations of pantry and household items for Ronald McDonald House in exchange for chances to win a pretty diamond something. I don't know if it's a pendant this year, but I encourage you to hit them up during your holiday shopping. McDonald's out to Prairie, that's the McDonald's out of Junction City in Manhattan. McDonald's Corporation is the corporate headquarters out of Dallas. And then we also got money from Dobsky & Associates McDonald's, which owns most of the McDonald's in Topeka. We recently received a $10,000 Share a Night sponsorship grant from the 2030 Club of Topeka. That was our first $10,000 grant at least since I've been here, so that was super exciting. Media sponsors, got my good friend Robert Raff in the audience. When I started 4 years ago, the board of directors asked me to focus hard on making sure the community knew the Ronald McDonald House was here. Apparently, once upon a time, people had us at the forefront of their thoughts. Then over time, for a variety of reasons, we kind of became an afterthought or a forgotten part of the community. And so partnership with KS&T and Cumulus Topeka has done great things as far as people being aware that the Ronald McDonald House is here, what we're about, and who we support. I've also got a lot of questions about, I think, people's most favorite annual event, which is our cookie walk. It is a holiday cookie sale. We also sell fudge and breads and pies and baked goods, and it's on Friday, December 6th. So please put that in your calendar. Come early for the best selection. It's at the Ronald McDonald House. It starts at 7:30, and we have local businesses, local baking companies donating baked goods as well as home bakers, and it's really fun and a great way to pick up gifts for your neighbors or your office mates. We're also having our first planned giving seminar. Planned giving, that's a real essential part, I think, of a nonprofit sustainability plan. We received our first planned gift this year. It was a $13,000 donation from a person's will. And so that's an easy way to leave a legacy for your loved ones or for other families. How many of you, by a show of hands, have either used the Ronald McDonald House, have a family member, or know someone who's used the Ronald McDonald House? Handful. I found it was a little bit like 7 degrees of separation. I didn't know a whole lot about Ronald McDonald House when I started, but as I've gotten out in the community and talked to more people, we're finding that you don't have to go very far to find someone whose life has been touched by the Ronald McDonald House. Major fundraisers in 2020. Wanted to let everyone know we've set the dates. We have 4 major fundraisers each year. We're having a sporting clays for a cause on April 18th at Ravenwood, and last year we had 100 shooters. It was our first attempt, so that was a great event, mostly thanks to Mother Nature, because it was the first nice Saturday that they'd had in quite a while. We also have our Charity Golf Classic, which is held, what's it called, on Urish Road. Somebody help me. Yes, Cypress Ridge. I hate those brain farts. Cypress Ridge on Friday, May 29th. Our gala this year will be on Saturday, August 22nd, and our theme is Kentucky Derby. So mint juleps and all kinds of fun will be had. And then we have had a pull-a-plane challenge for the last 4 years at the American Flight Museum at Forbes Field. However, the museum is selling its aircraft that we've been pulling. So we're flipping it on its ear, and we're gonna tug a fire truck in downtown Topeka as part of the Touch a Truck event on September 12th. We're gonna have teams of 10 compete to see how fast they can pull a large fire truck with water 40 feet. I think. We're going to do some testing and make sure that's even possible, but we're pretty excited to be in downtown, hoping to make use of the Evergy Park, and really make it a fun time down there with all the kids there for Touch a Truck and all the grown-ups pulling the fire truck. So that should be fun. How you guys can get involved, like every nonprofit, we always can use money. Equally important is time. We're always looking for volunteers to come in and make a meal, to hold a fundraiser on our behalf, whether it's a lemonade stand in the summer, a bake sale, a garage sale, and give us part of the proceeds. There's lots of things that families and businesses can do to lend support. Hayden High School did a Jeans Day for us this year and raised between $500 and $600, which is a lot for Topeka's Ronald McDonald House. So that was really fun. Pull tabs. We still collect the little aluminum tabs that come from cans of pop and beer, and we have a repository, a dumpster behind our house. Every time it gets full, we get about $200 to $300. So that's an easy way to lend support, is to just keep track of your aluminum tabs, collect them, and then drop them by the house. Or maybe Robert, if you're really like me, they could bring them to a Rotary meeting and you can hand them off to me at some point. But that's a real easy way to just do something that's helpful. We have wish lists on Amazon, we have wish lists on our website, and we're always in need of something. So people this time of year especially are generous in bringing us items that we need. Ronald McDonald House, keeping families close since 1988. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today and talk a little bit about our house, and come visit us, come take a tour sometime. It's looking a lot different than it was a few years ago. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Hey, Mindee, I may have missed this. Did you say how people qualify to get into the house? And are you ever full? And what do you do there?
To stay at the house, they need a referral from a physician, nurse, or social worker from a hospital. And they have to have a clear background check. So if you have been convicted of drugs or anything child-related or theft-related, you're not allowed to stay. But otherwise, anyone can stay. 3 times since last December, we have been full, which was new for us. Our census when I got here was about 40% on average, and now we're averaging between 50 and 60% full. So the 3 times that we've been full, we've worked with Stormont Vale, and they have family rooms. We also have an agreement with the Ramada Inn downtown, so if we get full, they'll help us by putting up a family.
Bob, did you have a question?
He asked my question.
Okay. Oh, I did. I took mine afterwards. You're just greedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mindee, we ask that you sign a book that we will be donating to Ross Elementary School, and it will be dedicated to you.
Oh, how nice.
Okay. So, I want to remind you that tomorrow afternoon, the YWCA Northeast Kansas Center is having their ribbon cutting and open house for the Day Center for Human Trafficking. You know that this is a project that we started and initiated through our Topeka Rotary Foundation grant that then just kept growing and growing and growing. So I hope that you can make it to the open house and tour and see what they're doing so we can continue to support the project. Anything else?
1309 Southwest Huntoon. It's from 2 to 5.
1309 Southwest Huntoon. It's across the street from Grace Med, and we're to park on the west side?
Yes.
On the west side. Larry?
I just have a general announcement if it's appropriate. I've been talking to Roger Eshelman, and I talked with Vince Fry yesterday, but at Topeka Performing Arts Center, we have an opportunity that we're going to capitalize on. There is a tremendous play called Last Out. And if you go to your your browsers, lastoutplay.com, it is the last elegy of a Green Beret. And it is it's a powerful piece that is on a national tour. And I saw this on Tom Brokaw on PBS, and then the next day I saw it again on CBS this morning. I contacted the group, and they're willing to bring this play here to Topeka and absorb the cost. And again, I'm not saying I'm looking for sponsorship, but I want anybody who is military, active, or retired, if you want to contact me or if you want my card, I want to get you on the communication list, because we're setting the date for Friday, February 14th. I know it's Valentine's Day, and I know that people have plans during that time, but that's when they can come through. It's a tremendous, tremendous piece. And if you go to that website, you'll see media pieces that'll just blow your mind. It's about military service and connecting and reestablishing yourself back in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. So you can go to our fundraiser on February 13th at the Civic Theater, and then the next day go to a play. And I don't know what's going to be happening on Saturday and Sunday then, but I'm sure you're doing something. There is no meeting next week. Wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. And I shared with you our schedule for December, where we have lots of celebration and camaraderie. And so with that, would you like to end with the 4-way test? 5-way.
Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth, fair for all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And will it be fun? Right. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.